Heavenly Manifestation, 8 Divine Miracles Prophesied to Answer Your Loneliness by October 25th. In the heart of a quaint English town, shadows loomed over Sarah's home, heavy with grief since her husband's sudden passing. Each breath filled the halls, echoing loneliness, while the spires of St. Michael's Church stood like silent sentinels against the sky. The townsfolk whispered about promises from the heavens, 8 miraculous signs to mend broken hearts. Was this the divine whisper Sarah longed for, or merely a faded echo of hope? As Sarah settled under flickering candlelight, the warmth of prayer enveloped her. A gentle stirring in her heart whispered of miracles yet to unfold. Could it truly be possible? She pondered within herself, a flicker of hope igniting in her chest. The first miracle arrived that very night when she received a letter from an unexpected friend. A sweet note from an old neighbor she hadn't seen since the funeral, filled with sweet words of kindness, reminding her that she was not alone. As Sarah read the letter, tears flowed freely down her cheeks, the loneliness lifting slightly like the morning mist. The town buzzed with anticipation for the approaching harvest festival, yet for Sarah, the preparations weighed heavier upon her fragile spirit. Friends encouraged her to join in the gaiety, but boots felt stuck in the mud of grief. Each day, she tidied the house, longing for warmth, only to succumb to despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. After this gentle reminder, the town gathered for the annual pumpkin carving by the park. Here, Sarah crossed paths with an elderly widow named Agnes. Her radiant spirit twinkled like starlight. In that simple exchange, something miraculous sparked. Agnes spoke of her late husband with laughter, and joy words spun with love and memories. Grief is a cloak we wear, dear Sarah, but love is the fabric. Let it drape you gently. As Sarah listened, a warmth enveloped her heart, currents of divine peace washing over her spirit. It opened the door to another miracle. Little by little, acts of kindness flowed among the townspeople. A seemingly endless supply of freshly baked pies appeared on her doorstep. Neighbors rallied to bring her laughter, support, and companionship. Each gesture was a thread, drawing the community closer, like a woven tapestry of faith and love. As the festival approached, Sarah's heart began to reflect the colors around her, a glorious palette of hopes reignited. Yet, with each smile, she remembered the promise of the 8th miracle looming in her mind, growing more significant against the happiness that colored her world. Could it be that the last miracle awaited its perfect timing as shadows grew long and anticipation filled the air? Standing on the threshold of newfound faith, Sarah asked herself, was God holding the best for last? The flickering lights of the festival twinkled around her, shadows danced, and her heart awoke with a question. Would the whispers of hope truly manifest before her very eyes? As the harvest festival drew near, the air danced with excitement and the scent of ripe apples and cinnamon. The town transformed, adorned in vibrant decorations, laughter spilling like sunlight from every corner. Yet within Sarah, emotions wove a complex tapestry. The flickering lights beckoned her, mingling joy with a bittersweet ache. She stood among the stalls, watching families gather, children squealing with delight. But Sarah felt as if she were standing behind a glass wall, observing a world vibrant with color, while her own heart seemed draped in shades of gray. She longed to join the festivities, but a whisper of doubt lingered. Did she deserve to partake in such joy when her heart still carried the weight of loss? Will you not carve your own pumpkin, Sarah? A gentle voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Agnes, appearing beside her with a basket brimming with supplies. Her presence was like a warm embrace, full of understanding. I don't know if I can, Sarah admitted, her voice a hesitant whisper. But you must. Avoiding joy only deepens sorrow. Let love's light shine through, even in the shadow of loss. Your husband wouldn't want you trapped by grief. He'd want you dancing in the light. Wouldn't he? Sarah nodded, remembering the way her husband had always encouraged her to embrace life, to find joy even in the simplest moments. She felt a flicker of courage ignite within her. Taking Agnes's hand, Sarah followed her to the table. As she began to scoop out the insides of the pumpkin, her fingers grazed the warm flesh, and tears spilled down her cheeks. Each scoop peeled away layers of sadness. The laughter, the chatter around her blended into an orchestra of healing. The townspeople's delighted faces became mirrors reflecting joy, and for the first time, she allowed herself to lean into the experience. With each carved stroke, a miracle unfolded. A little girl approached, her tiny fingers clutching a colorful drawing of Sarah's husband holding hands with her. I drew this for you, she said, her bright eyes shining. Yes, and my heart too. Sarah's heart swelled. In this little girl's innocence, she recognized God's presence, a sign that love transcended even the boundaries of death. She knelt, accepting the drawing, overwhelmed by gratitude. Thank you, she whispered, hugging the girl close. It felt like the first step across the chasm of her sorrow. As the evening deepened, lanterns flickered with a celestial glow. Sarah stood with Agnes, their pumpkins grinning from the table. Around them, laughter and bouncing lights created a shared harmony, an embrace of community enveloping her soul. Suddenly, a hush fell over the crowd. The mayor stepped forward, a gleam in his eye. Everyone, we have an announcement. We have received word about the 8th miracle. A murmur of curiosity rippled through the crowd. Sarah held her breath, heart racing. What could it possibly mean? Was it a promise fulfilled, bringing assurance to all who longed for hope? As the mayor continued, veiling the full surprise, Sarah felt a pulse of divine excitement surging through her. Could this be the moment she had awaited? But then came a pause intensely inviting. We shall gather here, under the full moon tonight, to witness a transformation, a blessing we've all been hoping for. The clarity of the moment struck Sarah. The true miracle was not just in what was to come, but in the journey of faith guiding her home. Her spirit soared with expectation, and she felt enveloped in love. What revelation awaited them all beneath that glowing moon? What divine surprise would reshape their understanding of hope? As Sarah looked up at the twinkling sky, one thought echoed in her heart. God's greatest wonders were often cloaked in the ordinary. The night air was thick with anticipation as the townsfolk began to gather once more. The full moon hung high in the sky, casting silver beams that brushed the earth like whispered promises. Sarah felt the cool breeze against her skin, invigorating her with each gentle touch. An unexplainable warmth spread from the core of her being, melting the remnants of her sorrow like frost in the morning sun. Agnes stood close, her eyes sparkling with a wonder that seemed to infuse the very atmosphere. Can you feel it, Sarah? Something beautiful is about to unfold, she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. Sarah nodded, her pulse quickening. She took a deep breath, grounding herself in the present moment. The laughter from earlier still echoed softly in her mind, mingling with the scent of autumn leaves and the sweet promise of change. As the first stars twinkled above, the mayor approached the makeshift podium, his expression transforming from solemnity to sheer joy. Dear friends, we stand together beneath this magnificent moon, and together we shall witness the 8th miracle. His voice rang out, enveloping them in a stirring unity. Tonight, our hearts shall be opened wide, our spirits lifted, and hope renewed. What could this miracle be? The question danced among them like fireflies, a spark of excitement igniting hearts and minds. A hush fell over the crowd, anticipation thick as they awaited revelation. And then it happened, an ethereal light began to shimmer from behind the town's old oak tree. It pulsed softly at first, casting gentle shadows that danced across the faces of every captivated soul. Sarah felt drawn to it, her heart racing as she stepped forward, compelled by a force beyond her understanding. As the light grew brighter, the silhouette of a figure emerged, a woman glowing with grace, her presence radiating peace and love. The townsfolk gasped, eyes wide, hearts pounding. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Was this a divine messenger? A glimpse of heaven itself? The woman raised her hands, and the light enveloped her fully, revealing a vibrant aura of colors, a heavenly spectrum binding earth to heaven. "Fear not," she spoke softly, her voice wrapping around each listener like a warm blanket. "I bring tidings of hope and love, gifts bestowed upon all who seek him." Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she absorbed the warmth of her words. This was a promise, a reassurance amid her doubt and despair. She felt a shift in her heart. The shadows that had clung to her soul shrank under the divine light spreading forth. Tonight, the woman continued, her eyes sparkling like stars. "Each of you shall receive a piece of this miracle, a blessing tailored to your heart's deepest longing. Open yourselves fully, for in this moment, the boundaries of heaven and earth shall meet." As she finished, the light expanded outward, enveloping the entire gathering. Murmurs of awe echoed as they felt the warmth brush against their skin, a caress from the divine. Sarah clutched Agnes's hand, her heart thrumming wildly. What lay ahead? What transformations awaited? The light surged, filling her with a refreshing wave of hope, illuminating the deepest crevices of her spirit, where doubt had previously resided. Could healing truly be this extraordinary? Could connection and love flourish, even in the aftermath of grief? As the townsfolk breathed in the presence of grace, Sarah felt a profound change stirring within her. The moment unfolded, and she knew that the path forward was steeped in miracles yet to be unveiled. What blessing would she uncover as the evening progressed? And how would this heavenly manifestation forever alter their lives? As the angel's smile glimmered in the moonlight, one thought whispered achingly in her heart. The journey toward divine transformation was just beginning. The light pulsed with a rhythm of its own, inviting hearts to beat in sync with the divine melody. Each pulse resonated within Sarah, evoking memories of laughter, tears, and unshared dreams. She felt as if the spirit of the town had come to life, intertwining with her, merging sorrow and hope into a tapestry of grace that shimmered under the moonlight. Agnes squeezed her hand tightly. "Look," she gasped, her voice trembling with wonder. Sarah turned to see the townsfolk, each casting their own shadows of awe, their faces aglow with the radiance that enveloped them. It was as if the yearnings of their hearts were being whispered into the air, a collective prayer rising toward the heavens. "Let your hearts be light," the luminous woman continued, her voice a soft serenade that floated above the whispers of the crowd. "In this sanctified moment, you will each encounter a reflection of your deepest desire, a promise fulfilled through faith." What could that promise be? Sarah's mind raced. Would it be connection? Would she rekindle the love of her lost family? Or perhaps it would be joy, the gift of laughter that had faded since her loss. Each possibility painted visions in her heart, transforming shadows into light. Suddenly, the first flickers of individual light began to break away from the collective glow, swirling gently towards the townsfolk. Each shimmer carried a unique tone, a color that represented the distinct dreams of every soul present. Gasps erupted as individuals reached out, feeling the delicate caress as those lights brushed against their skin. Sarah felt a gentle tug at her heart, urging her to step forward. She watched as Agnes began to sway, her eyes closed, lost in the embrace of her own blessing. The girl's lips parted in a soft smile, a smile that spoke of childlike wonder and deep-rooted faith. As she moved closer to the radiant figure, Sarah felt another presence like a whisper in the stillness, guiding her. "Believe," it seemed to say. "Your time is now." What was her deepest desire? She shut her eyes tightly, the weight of grief and longing clashing within her. Then, clarity began to wash over her. She opened her heart wide, a floodgate for hope. "I long for healing, for joy," she murmured, feeling her voice blend with the pulse of the divine light. "Receive your blessing." The luminous woman spoke again, her voice echoing through the enchanted night. As the light enveloped Sarah, she felt herself lifted, a hand pushing gently against her back, urging her forward. In that moment, she understood that healing wasn't merely forgetting sorrow. It was embracing each memory and weaving them into a new story filled with love. When the light faded, Sarah found herself standing in a circle of radiant warmth, surrounded by her fellow townsfolk. Each one wore expressions of unveiled longing turned into joy. Some danced, others wept with gratitude. Their spirits soared like the nightingale on soft winds. As laughter and song filled the air, Sarah dared to look around. The town, once familiar and mournful, now appeared alive, a vibrant community infused with renewed purpose and connection. She caught Agnes's eye, and they shared a knowing smile, a bond strengthened on a night like no other. But amidst the vibrant energy, a question arose: was this miracle merely the beginning? What other blessings awaited them? Could Sarah uncover a path to not only heal herself, but to help others heal too? With her heart swelling with anticipation, she felt an unyielding resolve ignite within her. More miracles were coming. As the joyous celebration continued around her, one truth remained. By the morning light, they would embark on a journey filled with unknown wonders, a path traced by divine hands. What awaited them at dawn? What was to be revealed when the veil of night was lifted? Sarah could only wait, her heart pulsing in harmony with the promise of more to come. As the moon cast a silvery glow over the town, Sarah felt the warmth of hope wrap around her like a beloved blanket. The night was alive, vibrant with the energy of transformed hearts. She could sense that something special was stirring, something that felt both terrifying and exhilarating. Agnes tugged at her sleeve, her eyes wide, reflecting the glimmering lights still dancing in the air. "Will we really see the miracles tomorrow?" she asked, voice bubbling with childlike excitement. "God always shows up," Sarah replied softly, squeezing Agnes's hand. "It's just a matter of believing." The laughter of townsfolk echoed through the night. It blended with the soft rustle of leaves, creating an orchestra of joy and hope. Sarah took a deep breath, letting the scent of earth and flowers fill her lungs, each breath a reminder of life blooming anew. Suddenly, a low humming began to rise above the crowd, a sweet melody woven with the vibrations of their shared experience. People swayed, caught in a rhythm that seemed to pull every heart together as one. Sarah could hardly contain her own spirit as she joined the dance. It felt as if the very ground was alive, echoing the pulse of the divine celebration. In the midst of the festival, a man stepped forward, his visage framed by the light that danced around him, capturing the crowd's attention. He had a calm presence, yet his eyes burned with fervor. "Friends," he called, his voice steady and rich, "let us lift our hands to the heavens. Tomorrow, we will witness the promises made to us, but first, let us ground ourselves in gratitude tonight." A wave of agreement washed over the crowd, and they raised their arms together, faces turned towards the sky. The night air shifted, growing dense with a sacredness that seemed palpable. Sarah closed her eyes and surrendered her heartbeat to the pulse of the moment. "May we be filled with peace. May our burdens be light," the man continued, his words settling over them like a gentle rain. "Ask for what you need: healing, connection, love. For what we speak into this night shall echo in the dawn." Sarah felt her heart dance with each declaration he made. A deep yearning pooled within her, almost spilling over. "Lord, let hearts be mended. Let love flow freely among us. Give us strength to face tomorrow." Cheers erupted around her, voices lifting like smoke into the night sky. Each person's desire mingled in that sacred moment, their dreams entwined like vines in the soft embrace of light. It was an electric sensation, swirling hopes connecting everyone. As the night deepened, people began to share stories, tales of struggle, of healing, of dreams lost and found. Sarah heard snippets around her, a couple speaking about their painful separation, a mother sharing her fears for her children, an elderly man expressing the loneliness of loving and losing. Each voice stitched a thread of understanding into the fabric of the community. This gathering hovered at the intersection of pain and hope, a beautiful tapestry in the making. Amidst it all, Sarah felt a sense of purpose pushing its way to the forefront of her heart. Could her healing lead her to help others find theirs? This was the calling she had long sought, a whisper now growing into a shout. As laughter continued to swirl around her, Sarah looked up once more to the star-laced sky, realizing how small, yet how cherished they all were beneath its vastness. What if the dawn brings not just individual blessings, but a transformation for us all? What if this journey we're embarking on leads to a reshaping of our town, our lives? The questions came like gentle brushes against her soul, urging her forward. The horizon began to glow softly, hinting at the dawn that was fast approaching. Something stirred within her as she anticipated the next day. The miracles they sought stood just a breath away. What would unfold as the sun rose? Would their dreams unite the town in a way they had not imagined? Sarah's heart quickened with excitement at the thought of discovering the beauty of what lay ahead. The dawn broke gently, painting the sky in soft hues of gold and pink, a precursor to the miracles Sarah and her friends had hoped for. As the first rays of sunlight kissed the earth, a tender warmth embraced the town, wrapping every heart in a promise. Sarah sat on her porch, sipping tea as she stared out at the quiet streets. The world beyond her door felt different, brimming with possibility. Each chirp of a bird invited her to breathe deeper, to feel the essence of new beginnings pulsating around her. The weight of anticipation hung heavy in the air, but along with it came a thrill perhaps today would unveil the blessings they had invoked in the night. Agnes bounded up the steps, her hair shimmering like the sun. "Sarah, the town square is filled with people. Everyone is coming together." Her excitement was contagious, and Sarah felt her own heartbeat quickening at the thought. They made their way to the square, hand in hand, sharing a silent prayer of gratitude. As they approached, the sight tugged at Sarah's heartstrings. The square was transformed, adorned with vibrant flowers, ribbons, and candles flickering in the gentle breeze. Voices mingled, carrying laughter and whispered hopes. Families embraced, friends reconnected, and the spirit of unity hung palpably in the air. The man from the night before, now recognized as a minister, stood at the center with a radiant smile, guiding the community. Today, we open our hearts to receive. Let us celebrate the miracles that are among us, ready to unfold. His voice danced like music above the crowd. Sarah joined the throng, her spirit alight with expectancy. It was as if the very ground thrummed with divine energy, eager to manifest the dreams they had woven together in prayer. They gathered in a circle, hands clasped, hearts aligned, one spirit, one voice. "Let's share our struggles," the minister called, "and through vulnerability comes healing. For each wound brought to light, a miracle can begin to form." With that invitation, people began to step forward, their stories spilling forth with honesty. A woman spoke of her battle with illness, her vulnerability met with a chorus of support. A young man shared his journey through despair, now filled with flickers of hope. Each tale knitted closer the bonds between them, revealing the universal struggles of the human experience. Empathy washed over the crowd, pushing back loneliness and igniting a spirit of compassion. As Sarah listened, tears welled in her eyes. Each shared burden felt like a call to action, a call to step beyond her own fears and join hands with those around her. With a deep breath, she opened her heart. "I want to help. I want to be part of this miracle," she exclaimed, her voice trembling. The minister smiled knowingly. "You already are. Your willingness to embrace love, brings transformation. In that moment, Sarah felt a ripple of connection surge through her. It was a beautiful realization that their individual miracles were bound together, intertwined like the flowers in the square, each contributing to a greater beauty. The prayers rose like incense, thickening the air with hope. Just then, a gentle wind swept through the square, stirring the leaves overhead. It felt as if the very breath of God was among them, whispering promises of healing and resurgence. Every heart, every dream, you are not alone. The minister called out, bravely reaching for the celestial. Today, we will witness the miracles unfold. What God has not yet revealed will become apparent. Sarah's heart soared. What waited them? The air was thick with wonder, and anticipation curled in her gut. She glanced at Agnes, eyes gleaming with awe, and knew she wasn't alone in this journey. Today held the potential for divine transformation, both personal and communal. What miracles would come alive when they opened themselves fully? As the first rays of forgiveness broke through doubt and fear, Sarah closed her eyes, tuning in to the rhythm of hope vibrating around her. What awaited in the unfolding day was only beginning to show. Would they uncover the true power of faith? Would the miracle they seek illuminate their hearts and the town beyond their dreams? The journey was just beginning, and anything was possible. The energy in the town square felt electric as people began to settle into the rhythm of the moment. The sun, now fully risen, cast a warm golden light that seemed to wrap around everyone like a divine embrace. Sarah could feel the pulse of hope resonate through her chest, each heartbeat syncing with the shared breaths of those gathered. She watched as people stood, vulnerable yet radiant, weaving their stories together, and it breathed life into their fears. Each confession acted like a key, unlocking the deeper connections that lingered beneath the surface. A man stepped forward, his frame shaking slightly as he spoke of loss. I lost my son last year, he said, his voice trembling. But every day, I feel his spirit guiding me. A hush fell over the crowd, followed by murmurs of empathy and understanding. In that sacred space, hearts opened wider, and every story became a thread in the tapestry of collective healing. Sarah felt a surge of courage. What would she share? The words hovered on the tip of her tongue, but self-doubt started to creep in. She glanced at Agnes, who squeezed her hand reassuringly. You have something to say, Sarah. Your heart knows how to express it, Agnes whispered, and Sarah felt the fire rekindle inside her. With a deep breath, she stepped into the circle. I've struggled with my own worth, she began, her voice barely above a whisper, yet it held a quiet strength. I often feel like I'm not enough. But in this moment, surrounded by all of you, I see how beautifully connected we all are. The warmth of understanding surged back towards her, igniting her spirit even more. I want to walk this journey with you. I want to know how we can uplift one another to share love and healing. Cheers erupted around her, their enthusiasm reverberating like a sweet melody. The minister took a step closer, his eyes glistening with pride. Sarah, that's the essence of community, coming together, lifting one another in love. As the crowd lifted their voices in chorus, singing songs of unity and hope, the air shimmered with a palpable presence. It was beyond words. It was an experience that wrapped around them like a soft, divine blanket. Suddenly, the wind picked up, swirling through the square, bringing with it a multitude of whispered prayers. Each gust felt powerful, bending the flowers toward the heavens, and in that moment, everything felt possible. The minister, visibly moved, called out, "Look at this beautiful work of God," as hands a living tapestry created by our courage, our faith. As the sun reached its zenith, Sarah raised her arms, feeling the weight of her burdens dissolve into the joy of the moment. The minister then encouraged everyone to close their eyes again, to focus inward and feel the true presence of God. What are you willing to release today? What do you wish to welcome instead? Sarah closed her eyes tightly, and visions floated through her mind like stars, images of forgiveness, joy, and love filled her spirit. The heaviness of her past began to lift as she envisioned a beautiful future, open and bright. Together, let us open our hearts, the minister proclaimed. As they collectively exhaled, the ground rumbled slightly, and whispers of miracles invigorated the air. Would these shared intentions ignite something profound? As she opened her eyes again, she felt a sense of anticipation dancing on the breeze. The laughter and song continued, but within her heart, seeds of transformation began to take root. What miracles were waiting in the wings? What divine plans surged forth just beneath their awareness, ready to break through? With hope blooming in her chest, Sarah felt that the day was only just beginning. As the crowd sang, an unseen energy rippled through the air, making every soul feel lighter. Sarah opened her eyes, gazing out at her neighbors who were now united, a sea of faces bright with illumination. Laughter intertwined with sighs of relief, and she marveled at how connected they all were, like threads woven into a grand design. Feel that? Agnes nudged her. That's the spirit moving among us. Sarah nodded, heart swelling with the truth of those words. They were all part of something greater, a collective spirit ignited by vulnerability and love. This wasn't just a gathering. It was a holy communion, where each story was a stepping stone across the waters of pain toward the shores of healing. She looked at the man who had shared his loss, his eyes now glistening with hopeful tears. "You are not alone," she whispered inwardly, sensing the quiet strength that came from shared sorrows. As the crowd quieted down, the minister took center stage again, his aura radiant with purpose. "Today we gather not just to share, but to ignite the gifts within us," he declared. "Each of you holds a miracle waiting to unfold. The question is, are you ready to unfold it?" A feeling of anticipation washed over Sarah. She felt a beckoning deep within her heart. As the minister continued, "Let today be a reminder that God honors every cry, every whisper, and every dream." He extended his hands, palms facing upward. "Can you feel that? This is the moment to let go of doubt and embrace your truth." With each word, Sarah felt a new flame igniting in her core. What had once felt impossible now felt tangible, just out of reach, but closer than it had ever been. She didn't know what her miracle would look like, but she understood it was rooted in their unity. Miracles happen when hearts open, she affirmed, a subtle courage flooding her veins. As the minister invited everyone to share what they wished to bring forth, a palpable energy swirled through the square. One by one, people stepped forward, each tearing down the walls of isolation that had held their hearts hostage for so long. "I want peace," a woman exclaimed, raising her hands. "I want to be free from my anger." Another voice echoed, filled with raw vulnerability. Sarah could feel excitement sparking in the crowd. They were standing together, confessing their greatest longings as a community. With every testimony, the atmosphere thickened with the promise of divine intervention. In that moment, Sarah found her voice again. She felt a wave of tranquility wash over her as she took a deep breath, calling on the courage that had blossomed before. "I want to welcome clarity in my life. I want to embrace the purpose that God has for me." A rush of approval enveloped her. People nodded, smiles spread wide like rays of sunlight. The minister raised his voice, wrapping their intentions in a blanket of prayer. "Let us give thanks, for every moment of doubt is transformed into faith, and every whispered hope is a seed of miracles." The tension in the air shifted, charging the atmosphere with expectancy. She could almost see the unseen hands of the divine at work, weaving between souls, creating a masterpiece. Suddenly, the wind swirled again, carrying a choir of voices that felt like a call to action. Everyone stood, drawn together, unified in purpose. "Are you ready to step into your miracle?" The minister's voice rang out, echoing across the square. What if the miracles they sought were not only in the future, but already stirring among them? How many of their hearts were ready to embrace transformation? The questions lingered in the air, waiting to unfold. As the last echoes of the minister's words faded, a hush fell over the crowd. The air crackled with emotion, each heart a drum beating in unison, yearning for the touch of the divine. Sarah's pulse quickened as she felt the collective anticipation wrap around her like a warm embrace. What did stepping into a miracle even mean? She was suddenly acutely aware of those around her, faces now beaming with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. "Let us hold hands," Agnes suggested, her voice a tender whisper. The idea was simple, but it felt monumental. Hands reached out, fingers intertwining, and in that moment, their individual hearts, once constrained, began to meld into one sacred pulse. Sarah closed her eyes again, feeling the warmth of her neighbor's grasp. Breathing deeply, she centered herself, recalling the stories shared throughout the gathering. Each testimony was a puzzle piece, locking together to form a picture of healing and purpose. The minister began to pray, lifting his voice in praise. "Lord, together we come to you as one body, seeking your light and love. Show us the miracles that dwell within." His words resonated deeply, stirring something profound within Sarah, urging her open spirit to respond. "I trust you, Lord," she fervently prayed in her heart. "Unfold my purpose before me. I am ready." With every heartbeat, her resolve strengthened, and she silently vowed to welcome whatever change awaited her. Just then, a gentle breeze swept through the gathering, swirling around them in a playful dance. The scent of blooming flowers mixed with laughter and tears, igniting a deeper sense of connection. It was as if a divine presence was affirming their prayers, showering them with heavenly love. One by one, more voices rose in the square as others shared their intentions. "I want to inspire others," shouted a young man, the fervor in his words sending ripples of excitement through the group. "I long for unity in my family," echoed a voice, trembling with emotion. Each proclamation felt like a thread being woven into a tapestry of miracles. A child nearby raised her small hands, her innocent face glowing. "I just want everyone to be happy," she chimed, and laughter erupted, momentarily breaking the weight of the atmosphere. Joy surged through Sarah as she watched these moments unfold. They were not merely words. They were seeds being planted in the soil of their shared existence. As the prayer deepened, Sarah sensed something shifting within her. It was a gentle invitation to explore her own heart more profoundly. Moments of stillness passed, and in the quiet, she felt a whisper from beyond. "Sarah," the whisper went, soft yet powerful, "the miracle you seek is already within you." Her heart raced. What could that possibly mean? Had she been waiting for an external sign, when the transformation she craved was nestled inside her all along? Confusion and exhilaration tangled within, but the more she wrestled with it, the clearer the truth became. She was called to illuminate the gifts lying dormant within, not just for herself, but for all those standing with her in faith. With newfound clarity, she opened her eyes, scanning the crowd. Individuals were lost in their own thoughts, voices blending into a chorus of hope. "Imagine what could happen if we all embraced our unique gifts," she whispered aloud, her voice trembling with excitement. "Imagine the change we could bring." A sense of urgency washed over Sarah, igniting a spark in her. She felt a shift in the atmosphere, and she knew they were on the cusp of something extraordinary. What will it look like when we all step into our miracles? The question hung in the air, a divine challenge. As the minister raised his arms, summoning the congregation to a chorus of unified voices, Sarah felt herself leaning into the promise of transformation. The future shimmered before them like a river of uncharted possibilities. But what awaited them on the other side of this divine invitation? How would their lives be redefined? A latent excitement rippled through her. Change was coming, and she was ready to dive deeper. The sun reached its zenith, casting a warm, golden light over the town square, revealing the beauty that had emerged from vulnerability and connection. Sarah felt the pulse of the gathering, every heartbeat synchronizing in celebration of new beginnings. The whispered hopes of yesterday had transformed into the shouts of purpose today. As the congregation sang, their voices intertwined like threads of vibrant fabric, binding them together in love and unity. It was intoxicating. Each note lifted burdens previously borne in silence, and Sarah couldn't help but smile. The weight on her shoulders began to dissolve, replaced by a sense of belonging and the courage to embrace her own journey. The minister raised his hands high, calling for silence. "Friends, the moment of miracles is upon us." His voice resonated like thunder, vibrating with divine anticipation. Sarah's heart raced. She could feel it, the energy shifting, lessons unfolding, and a divine orchestration breathing hope into their varied lives. Today, the minister continued, "We will witness what happens when faith converges into action. Now is the time for every heart to be fully open. Call forth your miracles. They wait in the wings, embracing you." A tender quiet settled over the square, each person holding their breath. On this threshold of expectation, Sarah closed her eyes once more. "Lord, guide me," she prayed, her spirit aching with fervor. "Reveal to me what you have planted within my heart." The stillness enveloped her, a cocooning presence that cradled her trembling soul. A soft warmth spread through her as she envisioned a flower breaking out of the ground, delicate yet fierce. It was her heart, strong and persistent, longing to bloom. Suddenly, a swell of voices punctured the silence, breaking the sacredness with confessions and prayers. "I want courage," a voice cried out, trembling yet resolved. "Let me be a beacon of hope." Another rang through the crowd. As dreams erupted into the atmosphere, Sarah opened her eyes. The gifts didn't just lie dormant. They hummed with life, woven within each story shared. She grabbed Agnes's hand, the warmth igniting her spirit further. "Let us share," Sarah blurted out, her voice steady and full of purpose. Agnes nodded fiercely, eyes shining with encouragement. They stepped forward together, surrounded by the warmth of their gathered friends. "We believe in the miracles we seek. We are more than our pain. Together, we can create a life bursting with love and purpose," Sarah declared, her voice unwavering. Cheers erupted from the crowd, the joy echoing across the square like a promise fulfilled. In that moment, the essence of community was alive, an unbreakable bond strengthened by shared vulnerability. The minister's eyes glimmered as he observed their unity. Every heart that speaks spirals into the birth of collective miracles. Today, let us embrace what we wish for in unison. As people began to raise their hands, inviting the heavens to join them in their revelations, a beautiful ripple of faith surged through the square. Sarah could see the glints of hope reflected in every eye. One by one, individuals stepped forth, acknowledging their deepest longings, healing for their families, restoration for lost dreams, and joy rekindled in their hearts. With every declaration, Sarah felt the air pulse around her. It was as if the very essence of hope was merging with their intentions. The town square pulsed with energy, brightening as more voices joined together in ecstatic prayer. "Let your individual miracles unify," the minister urged, and at that moment something shifted. Light began to filter through the branches of the ancient oak, casting shimmering shadows on the congregation. A melody broke forth, harmonious and pure, flooding the space with divine energy. It cascaded over the gathering like gentle rain, showering them with grace. Tears of joy streamed down Sarah's cheeks. The air was palpable with love, and she felt connected to each soul, unified in purpose and intention. As they all turned their faces to the sky, the golden sunlight bathed them in warmth. Sarah realized the miracles had always been within them, waiting for the courage to emerge. That day, they had ignited flames of change, transforming grief into gratitude, loneliness into love, and despair into hope. The minister took a step back, eyes filled with wonder. Beloved community, look around. You've created beauty here, a garden of manifestations. God has set forth his love among you. Cheers erupted as the townsfolk hugged, twirling in celebration. Sarah's heart soared higher than ever before. The darkness that consumed her had lifted, replaced by warmth and light. This was her moment of transformation, a divine impartation woven intricately into the fabric of their lives. As Sarah caught Agnes's gaze, she smiled brightly. "It's just the beginning. I assent it." Agnes nodded. "Indeed. Together, we'll step into our purpose and discover the miracles beyond this day." With renewed faith, Sarah breathed in deeply, holding tight to the love blooming around her. She couldn't wait to see where this journey would lead. Tomorrow would hold new adventures, the dawn of deeper connections, and a cascade of miracles. As everyone celebrated, laughter rang bright like bells heralding new life. The evening would unfold into something beautiful, an enduring manifestation of divine love. This was the moment where faith flourished, a powerful calling to embrace the miracle of life. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Your support is crucial. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show the world that these messages matter. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. Your voice is powerful. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope and love. Don't wait even one more second to share. True servants of God understand the importance of spreading this message.